Well, hello and welcome to this edition of the Red Raider Coaches Show. My name is Brent Johnson, along with offensive coordinator Matt Wilson. Matt, glad to have you.
Yes, thank you. I'll go ahead and start off with Raider Nation. Last Friday, y'all showed up and showed out. I thought the crowd was really good. I was blown away by y'all's crowd, and I'll be honest with you, it helps our boys. It helps the program and everything. Y'all just keep showing up, showing out, and we appreciate that, Raider Nation. So I hope we can keep that up, and like I said, it helps our boys, motivates them, gets them ready to go.
Well, I appreciate you that. I know our community does as well, and
they do.
You're right. You know, with a big crowd like that, they were excited. We got a big win, and that always makes this show a little easier to do.
It does.
When we have a win and we can come back and have a lot of positive things to talk about. Oh, you know, there's things that we'll discuss that went awry a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
But we got that big win at Big Red the other night, and we're all excited about that. And I'm glad, again, OC's here with us to talk a little bit about that. I want to thank all of our sponsors that are a part of not only this coaches show, but that support the Red Raider Touchdown Club, that support Red Raider Broadcasting, BCTV's Red Raider Broadcasting on the NFHS network. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later as we go. But as I mentioned, you know, we got a big win for Big Red,
yes.
That Big Red wave that was in the stands, and that's always awesome. You know, we were a little frustrated the week before. You know, things didn't go our way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we won't even go back to that. But moving forward, we saw improvement in our ball team. And that's all we can ask for. You know, wins and losses are going to happen, and the losses you can play a great game and still get beat. But when you put it together and you do the things that it takes the week prior, and it culminates to a victory, it just makes it all the sweeter.
Yeah, and the boys, and we kicked it up a notch at practice last week, and the boys they responded great. They responded well, and it shows on Friday. We just kicked it up a notch. And like I said, with you, I'm glad we get a home win, because
yeah.
For some reason last year we were road warriors,
yeah.
And couldn't get it. So we finally got it for that big crowd. You know, everybody coming. The ones that can't get to away games, they can come to home, and finally we can get that home win. So that was a little weight off our shoulders.
Absolutely, and it is. You know, kind of get the monkey off your back.
Mm-hmm.
You get over that hump, get that victory.
Right.
Over a very solid Telfair.
Yes.
Your dad was right last week when he told me there's some big dudes.
They were.
And they had a man back there, you know,
Yes.
toting that ball. But
yes.
all but the one big play that, you know, we didn't tackle
Right.
right on the backfield, and he got away from us and
That's
had the
right.
long run. That was we contained him
We did.
very well.
We
Defense
did.
played real well. We'll get to defense in a second. But
Mm-hmm.
Offensively, can you? I noticed I wasn't calling the game at home games. That was Coach Keck and Heath Carver on the horn broadcasting it. And when I'm running the jumbotron, I have to stay pretty focused on down and distance and not really pay attention to the specific plays that are being called. It looked like we added some things, changed some things up a little bit offensively. Tell us about that.
We did. What was happening against, and we really figured out against Clinch, everybody's starting to key on Travion Richardson, our senior running back, number one.
And they should.
And they should. He was a 1,000-yard back last year, all state. He was all region running back, everything like that. So I'll be honest, whatever side he's on, they're putting most of their players over there. And football's just a numbers game, and they know if he's here, most likely it's going there. That's just how our offense is. So they were putting way more over there, making us have to. We really can't give them the ball, and if you do, they got 2 or 3 guys we can't block.
Right.
So we went into that 2-back system. and we put Keandrick Dixon in. He's a freshman. Been kind of freshman. You got to kind of ease in. You just never know. But
Hey, throw that boy to the fire. Throw that boy
and we
to
did,
the fire.
and we did, and it worked because this is what happened. We went 2 back, and they did the same thing to Trey. They put everybody over here, and there wasn't nobody on the side that Keandrick could run. And now I think we kind of found something, because now they don't know which way we're going. They can't crowd the box in either way. They can't crowd either side, and I think that really helped us. So
Well, we got a 3-headed monster now.
And we do,
With,
yes.
with Green and Richardson and now Dixon. I brought his name up last week. He got a couple totes. I think his biggest play was when he got the kickoff return down force 30, 40 yards and got the penalty too.
Right.
And from that late hit, but I'm doing the jumbo last year for middle school games. He's different. He's built different, looks different, and from a running back standpoint, he's I don't know. It's just he's smooth. It's he kind of glides versus running, and then next thing you know, he's gone.
He is. He had a good night. You want to go and do stats?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Stats was, I think Keandre ended up with about 112 yards. He had 3 touchdowns.
3 touchdowns. That's huge.
He did. And then Aiden had our other touchdown, 33-yard reception off that play action.
Wow. That's,
and
when you can run the ball,
right,
that's what
it sets it up.
Sets that up too.
It sets it up. And then a big stat that I want to talk about is Isaiah Robinson's 44-yard field goal. What really in the game, it was 28-21.
That's right.
And it was like 3 or 4 minutes left.
That's right.
And and Coach Wilson, they said send the field goal out there, boy. We was holding, and but Isaiah's a type of kid that he does everything right, and he is just a great kid. And you just got to depend. You got to depend on the dependables.
That's right.
And Isaiah's always been one of those. And boy, he popped it right through there, and it really made it, a 10-point game.
That's
now
right.
you just feel better about
That's
it.
right. Absolutely.
It was huge.
And he's a weapon. We've known. We saw in warm-ups and extra points, he pounds them. I mean,
Yes.
he's got good strength in his leg. It's just the accuracy was the debatable part.
Right.
But man, he split it.
He goes to work, and
that's awesome.
And then after that, you saw the next 2 in the
End
next
zone.
2 were freaking end zone.
I mean,
which is also huge.
That's a
They
huge
start
weapon.
on the 20.
That's exactly right.
So I was really happy for him.
And at any level, it's super important. But at the high school level, it's really important to be able to have that kind of a weapon in your back pocket.
It is.
And he may not make everything, but again, he's you don't want to put too much pressure on him. But man, you talking about he's a great kid, great in the classroom, and then he works hard on the field.
He does.
Apparently, so that's
very happy.
That's awesome
for him.
So that's a good deal. You remember the total rushing stats we may have had, ballpark.
I think it was 112, 150. It was close to 2.
Close to 200 yards. Let's go back to the play we ran that scored the passing touchdown from Ledbetter to Aiden. That was set up again, I think, by just being able to run the ball.
It was off that jet, that Tamupi.
And we were all in the press box. I could hear myself say it. I could hear him in the broadcast room. He's wide open.
I was saying it too. And that's the ones you actually get a little scared.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
so open, it's like, we're going to miss
Get their ball. Get their ball.
Yeah.
Get their ball.
It is.
There was nobody within 10 or 15 yards.
It is. That's one of them.
And I remember Keck said on the replay I watched. He said something. I don't think he'd get that wide open at practice.
Right. Yeah.
So that was a great play. I think you put that in your pocket. We've got a tight end play y'all ran. We didn't talk about that last week.
We do.
That 22 scored on last week or the week before at Clinch County, was pretty awesome. And so again, you can't show everything that you've got at the first couple games of the season, especially when, again, these teams. Well, I take that back. Some of these teams might depend whether we get in the playoffs because of the new power rankings.
Yes.
But overall, we want to get in there without any question by being in the top 4 of our region.
That's right.
Moving on. Or as we move on, and we won't hit our region schedule for a few more weeks, but. Just again, defensively, we played a very solid game. We were, last week, again in Clinch County, had a few mishaps, a few mistakes, but it seems like last year our defense was really solid from
Right.
week in to week out, and then we saw a little glimpse of that last Friday
That's
night.
right.
I
That's
know
right.
Thad's not here with us to kind of go over that, but we did get I felt we had a big sort of a lift with one of our star players coming out. He earned his way back on the field, and number 6,
Yes.
that come out for us, and man, he was a headhunter. Right,
He was.
very first play comes in,
Yeah,
he gets the sack.
a little bit crazy. First off, defense. I'll be honest, it was a really good team win because it seemed like every time if offense did something, then defense would get a turnover, or if defense did something, then offense was able to score. So I thought it was a really good team win. And defensively, turnover. They getting the other team to turn the ball
That's right.
over, and that's huge.
That's huge.
In high school. And we just got to stop turning it over. So we did better this week. I like 0 turnovers.
That's right.
So we're gonna get better. But I thought it was a good team win. And yeah, Akee Brown. He came back, and when he got in there, he started creating chaos. And he practices hard, and
he loves it.
He does.
Loves
He's a football player, and his stat line, I got it wrote down right here. I don't want to mess up. He was kind of all over the place. He led the team, 7 tackles, a forced fumble, 2 QB hurries, 1 sack, and 1 pass breakup. So he was kind of all over the place. And then we had also Mike Dixon ended the game with like a 60-yard pick six. So that was good. And then we had more forced fumbles. I know Scooter had one.
That's right.
They had a good bit of turn. I mean, they had a lot of turnovers. That's the name of the game on defense.
Absolutely.
Get to the ball and get the ball.
So and I felt like our pass defense played very well.
They
Our
did.
DBs overall didn't really give them anything. And again, most importantly, is we held that tailback to other than the long run he got in the first quarter.
After that
was it.
It was done.
He was done, and again, wrapping up, making tackles. You know, it's just fun. Obviously, it's fun to watch when the kids do what not only they're supposed to do, they just execute.
Right.
With fewer and fewer mistakes, and that's what you want to see from week to week.
And you got to realize defensively we're pretty young. We're young up front now, so I mean they're just going to keep getting. They're just going to keep getting better. So
just keep better. Keep pushing them during the week, like you said. You step it up a notch. That's always good. I know this week's hot. Boy, it's a little hotter than last week.
Yes,
so
it is.
Maybe a little more difficult to get them going, get them motivated for everybody because it's miserable hot. I was in the booth of the softball game yesterday, and there's air conditioning up there, and I was still sweating. It was, I'm not out in the sunshine. By the way, our Lady Raiders defeated Brantley County yesterday. We were 4-0 in region play. They go Thursday to play a doubleheader to finish them off hopefully this week.
Excellent.
To give them a little plug, but we are preparing for a potential another victory. A little unique situation this week. If you haven't heard, this show will be posted a little later today, but tomorrow night, Thursday night, the game has been moved to Thursday from Friday. Bottom line, there was just not enough referees in our area to sustain our game on Friday. So Treutlen called end of last week and requested, or didn't really request, they said we've got to do this basically.
Yeah, they did.
And so we'll be there 7:30 kickoff tomorrow night, Thursday night, the 29th. Yes, that'd be the 29th. Believe it or not, I know my dates this week because I know what's happening on the 31st.
Yes.
And we'll get to that.
Yes.
I do too. So I just backed up 2 days. So that's where we'll be in Soperton, Georgia. It's about an hour 10, 15 in a car. Encourage you. It's a little different, unique. Come out Thursday night. Encourage you to drive over to support our boys over there. And sorry about that. The alarms on the phone. Soperton. And come out on a Thursday night game. I don't know when the last time we played a Thursday night game. We've done it before. It's been years ago. But encourage you to make that trip. If you don't, we are going to be attempting to broadcast live on the NFHS, and you're more than welcome to tune in there. But I always encourage you to show up in person so those boys can hear you in their ear hole as you cheer them on to a victory. So what can we expect from this team out of Soperton?
Number one, so our week of practice is a little different. We've kind of had to, and the boys have responded well. It's just, we're used to adversity. You just got to respond to it, and they've done it well. We kind of had to combine some practices. We brought those older guys in Sunday, Went ahead and watched film then, go ahead and show them us, how we get us better. And then usually we do that Monday. So now Monday we had to go ahead and start getting ready for Treutlen, they're a young team, but I'm telling you what, they're coached well.
Yeah.
And they put them in a great position to win games. I believe they are 1-1.
1-1
as
like
well.
us.
Yeah. So they're young, but they got some players and they can run. And I'm telling you, their coaching staff puts them in a great position to try and win. So, like I said, we stayed, kicked it up a notch at practice, and they know it. We've watched them. We just got to stay offensively, no turnovers, execute the plays. Defensively, get to the ball and get the ball back.
That's just fundamental.
That's football,
Fundamental football. What can we expect to see offensively from this team?
They are wing T. They are under center wing T. They are not going to be like Telfair. They run the ball 95% of the time.
So discipline.
Yes. They're going to run
your gap.
They're going to run
man.
buck,
Silence.
lead, stuff like power. A lot of power lead, and they will try to play action. They'll try to run, and try to set up the play action.
Gotcha.
But they're mainly run team.
Okay.
Wing T, under center.
Defensively, they do anything special?
Defensively, they're a 3-5, but every time a tight end comes up, their 2 ends come up there, and they'll have 3 down linemen, 2 ends and 2 backs. So it's really a 5-2.
Okay.
And they got them 3. They're 3 D linemen. They can move now, and they slant. They go everywhere, right, left, and they're trying to get through that gap before our linemen can get there. So we really work that. So and they got some speed on defense, and they try and stop the run. That's what they're doing.
I know we went up there. I think it was y'all's first year here.
Yes.
And we were going to try to play a scrimmage game, and I don't think I've ever seen it rain that hard before in my life.
Insane.
It was in 10 minutes. It was ankle deep everywhere.
Yes, I got a good story about that. I was supposed to. We knew it was probably going to rain. We didn't know it was going to be that bad. And I have to do the game balls. Well, I had them in a trash bag, which is what you're supposed to do because having trash. Well, by the time the ball fell out, and we got everything in, and I left the game balls on the sideline. And I kid you not, we got back there, they were floating down the sideline.
I believe it
because it rained that much, but. Their balls were dry as anything. That was funny. They won't let me live that one down. I'm the offensive coordinator. Game balls were probably drenched, but that was funny. But it did. I ain't never seen that.
It took like 10 or 15 minutes, and no, we're not playing. Because I don't think their field was in the best of shape. That day.
I can't remember. I just know it didn't matter. It rained so bad.
It wouldn't matter. It was just so much rain. But we're going to head back over there again Thursday night. Depending on whenever you watch this show on the 29th to face a solid Treutlen team. And we got to treat everybody that way to go in. But again, execute all those things you said. It's just fundamental football. You got to protect the ball. And that's in any sport, just about it. You got to protect the ball.
And I told offense, like I said, we met Sunday and watched film, and I told them, and I don't know if I didn't even notice until I started thinking about it. If you think about our first 3 games, for some reason on our first drive, we get shell shocked or something, and we all 3, Applin, Clinch, and Telfair. Our first drive, we're like shell shocked, but you go back all 3. Our second drive, we go down the field and score. So I'm trying to tell, hey, let's go ahead and get this shell. I don't know what we need to do pregame. We need to go hit some more.
Yeah.
Because I showed him, I said, hey, you're right, Coach. That's every game. For some reason, that first drive, so I'm trying to get us get going quicker.
Well, maybe that'll start. We'll start something tomorrow night and have them ready to go. And again, you're still talking about folks 14, 15, 16-year-old kids. We are young. And we do have some senior leadership, though, which I'm proud of. A lot of guys, whether they speak with their mouth or with their helmet, we do have some guys that are flying around and making plays, and that's what we want to see. I got a couple questions, kind of unique here. I'm not putting Coach on the spot. I gave him a chance to kind of think about these questions. I always get in text messages or I see people, or once in a while I talk to folks, and they have some questions for the coaches when they're on the show. And this is maybe the first or second time I've done this, but I'll look to maybe asking a question like this to the coaches each week. But the first question is, and I told you, Dad, last week, hey, this is your 3rd season in your program. What does he see the changes from start to now? Well, I want to ask Coach here, where do you see our program, in say 3 years?
Okay.
And before he answers, there are some things that are out of our coach's control and out of our district's control. And there's two-part question. Where do you see us in 3 years, and then how do we get there? But we don't know what region we're going to be in, what classification, who the teams are we're going to be playing. Every 2 years that changes. So, we've already talked last week. We kind of went out of the frying pan into the fire. Leaving Brooks and Irwin, two perennial powers for the last 10 or 15 years. You're talking about multiple state championships. Now we're dealing with Fitzgerald. We're dealing with a Thomasville team, a Worth County team that's really solid. Jeff Davis that's ranked this week, and Barry and Brantley, so on and so forth. But I'll let you take that question. Where do you anticipate us being? Where you hope for us to be, and how we get there?
Well, I can tell you, like Coach Wilson and all of us coaches, we really based the program when we first got here on class, character, and commitment. It's the 3 C's, and we've never gone off of it. And then the last one is discipline, and that's just what we built it on. And we're getting there, and we still, obviously, like you said, it's teenagers, but they've obviously bought in these last few years, and it's really the discipline. It's really the discipline aspect of it. And I'll go back, if you go watch on SEC Network. Speaking of Georgia Bulldogs, Kirby Smart they had a little thing on him at SEC Network, and it showed him at practice. And they're supposed to have at practice, I guess it was a walkthrough day. They got to have their shirts tucked in. And he went ballistic because 2 or 3 or 4 of them didn't have it. Why aren't our shirts tucked in? They got to be tucked in. And then something else, why did you step on that line? Our feet supposed to be on that line. And just the discipline aspect of that. And the players, Jordan Davis, all them players are in the NFL now, talked about it, and they were watching and said, yeah, he gets mad about that. He can't do that. And the players even said, you want to have discipline like that all the time on the little things. Because on 4th and 4 in the national championship, we ain't jumping off sides.
That's right.
They're not getting us to jump off sides, and we're going to do our job. That's right. And that's what's led Georgia to, national championship, #1 rank. So just the little things. So that's really what we've always based it on. The discipline, the little things, just do that right. And then, I'll be honest, winning takes care of itself. We don't even talk. We just talk about class, character, commitment, do stuff right in the community, in the classroom. Mm-hmm. Be committed to what you're doing and have discipline in everything you do. The wins will take care of themselves, and I think we're going to keep doing that. And I think we should just if we just keep buying in, we'll keep rising.
Keep rising.
So that's just kind of how we built it.
Well, and that's a great answer, Coach. I wouldn't expect any less. Knowing your dad, knowing you as a person, and every other person on this this schedule. I promise you folks at home in the community, the conversations I have with administration at times throughout the year, throughout the summer, they're looking for coaches with high character. And I hear that all the time with Mr. Powell, when they're hiring teachers just for the classroom. We want high character folks, and that's going to be teaching your kids in the classroom and then coaching them up on the field. We spend a lot of time, including myself, with students outside of the classroom with extracurricular, whether it's athletics or anything else, and that's super important, and that's something to be held high in any community. And again, like he said, those things will come together eventually, and you're gonna get some wins. Like you said, that'll take care of themselves. You're gonna do everything right and get losses, and that's part of life too. And we teach them right over there in the classroom. You can do it all right every time and still not quite get to where you want to be.
But our end goal is to teach them discipline now, and so when they graduate high school, they're good husbands, fathers in the community, work hard and stuff. And that's what I love about football. That's what I love about football, because it's a team game. Everybody's got to work together. Just like when you go into the real world, you're gonna have to work together with somebody for an end goal, and that's our biggest goal. Yeah. Wins take care of themselves. We want to turn them into men.
That's right.
So that's our end goal.
The icing on the cake is just the wins and stats and that kind of thing. So
that's it.
And one other quick question, and we'll wrap this up.
All right.
And I like this too. I've often thought of it through the years, and I know a lot of times it's larger schools that do this. But what are the chances, someone asked, of our program scheduling home and away with an out-of-state opponent in the near future? A lot of times schedules are set 2 years out, but giving our kids and our community an opportunity for some additional exposure. This particular person, kind of offered up some of the North Florida schools like Yulee or Hilliard or Callahan or Callahan.
Yeah.
Maybe Fernandina Beach. A lot of us familiar with that area. Baker County.
Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't be opposed to it. It's just really like the new region came out. Region came out in January or whatever. And when you go there, I'm telling you, it's like
Fighting.
yes, coach, hey, coach, you got a game here because it's all about dates. It's all about home and away. And I believe a North Florida school actually did contact us, but it was later when we already had our full schedule.
Right.
You just can't take that chance about once
Sure.
you have a contract signed, that's what you do. But we wouldn't be opposed with it. I think it would be cool.
Well, maybe we could plan ahead. And again, it might be 2 years from now.
Right.
But maybe that'd be something for the some touchdown club get involved with as well in that part of planning process and discuss it. But I think that's would be a great idea. Or a team from South Carolina, not too far. Again, do a home and away. That would be really cool for our kids and our community. But yeah. Well, Coach, I mentioned earlier, I know you're a big Dogs fan, and most people in this area are. There's a few that will maybe come to their senses sometime in their life to pull for the Dogs. But college football season starts this weekend, and man, I actually sat there and watched almost every snap of Georgia Tech and Florida State. I asked Mr. Jimmy Scott. I said, "Is there any way that both of those teams could lose?" He said no, but no, I pull for Tech. I don't have a problem with Georgia Tech.
Right.
I'll let them win every game but one.
That's it.
And it'll be okay. But yeah, college football actually starts tomorrow night officially, I think.
Sure does.
Georgia tees it up at 12. My son is actually going to that game, kind of a birthday present for him.
Okay.
So that's kind of cool at the Mercedes. But yeah, most importantly though, come out and show out tomorrow night, again Thursday night on the 29th at Soperton, Georgia, 7:30. And root for these Red Raiders. We're on a little bit of a high. Again, wind does that for you. Puts a little kick in your step. And, we're proud of these boys, proud of what these coaches are able to accomplish, and let's keep moving forward. And, again, any final thoughts, Coach?
Thank you, Brent. Hey, go Raiders.
Go Raiders. Thank you for joining us on this edition of the Red Raider Coaches Show.